All right, it's Wednesday, March 20th. This is an end of the day SPY recap midweek, and today we end up with a two up green bar that takes out the high of the previous day, which was anticipated given the strong green bar from yesterday. We held the midpoint of the prior day. Opening price action kind of paused a little bit after the Fed, which I'll get into, but then there was an opportunity to get on board to the upside, given that you were anticipating, yesterday's high to be taken out. What that does is that triggers the inside week two up, which then targets, the high of 2 weeks ago. And I've been talking about how, we've been pausing here for a while now. And the more that we can't go lower and get a 2 down week that turns red, the more this might be kind of just resting after a long run up here on the weekly chart and building some energy for another leg up, and that's what seems to be happening. Although we do have 2 days to go in the week, so I don't want to, until this weekly bar ends green, that'll show we're breaking out and should continue higher. With 2 days to go, and there's still the possibility, I guess, of an inside bar failure on the weekly time frame where we come up, take out that high, hit the target, and then before the week's over, get down, below the open for a red bar and a shooter bar or some type of failure here to continue higher in the next 2 days. But we'll find that out. And the way that's going to happen is we're going to get below the midpoint of this day here tomorrow, and some, maybe big green bar. So you expect to take out the high. If we come back through the midpoint in a strong way, maybe we get to the bottom of today, on an outside day to the downside, and then maybe by the week, when the week closes after 4 and 5 days, we might have a big shooter bar here on an inside bar failure. That's always a possibility. We have 2 days to go, so just watch each day going forward. But if we end up green here, then we're likely continuing another leg up on this chart. Anyway, in terms of price action, again, coming into the week, we had an inside bar shooter week. I discussed how it was kind of tough to know what's going to happen. We're in a big consolidation area. If you look at the daily chart, this whole area is just consolidating. So immediately on Friday after that, potential move down, but a doji bar, we gap up. So we weren't immediately kind of heading lower to start, although I shot a video describing how after that opening move kind of failed to come down, I was expecting the low of the day to be taken out. And that's all that happened. Then you had a kind of a red bar close on Monday. And then, yesterday was the gap down, so you got a 2 down day, but I was showing how you're at the bottom of a range, anything's possible. And I described how eventually we just paused for 3 bars and then moved up. So it was an upward intraday bias on the day, kind of below the midpoint of the prior day. But once we got to the halfway point of that day, I said at that point, you could look for an outside day to the upside. That's what happened. So now after yesterday's green, you're looking for follow through higher today. So what happens today is you're expecting higher. You got the pre-market highs right up here. Price kind of opens with a red bar inside, then up. So you buy that. And, essentially it took out its first liquidity, the pre-market highs, and then just wanted to pause for the Fed, announcement all day, and you didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Although you're kind of biased to the upside the whole way, you're well above the midpoint of the prior day. So until price got down here, which would be all the way down here on the chart, you're not really biased to the downside at all. Anyway, after the announcement, you get the big move up. Now the interesting thing is once you have the upward day and the weekly chart being taken out, then you're anticipating this high to be reached. In other words, the inside week was going to reach this high right here. So on that very first move up, you didn't quite get there. Then you had an inside bar. So therefore, this was a good buy right here. If you wanted to just be patient, wait for a signal on the 15-minute chart to kind of confirm that you're heading higher, even though I think this big green bar was confirmation enough once it closed to kind of get long. But if you didn't do it, this bar inside, then you could have bought here and it went up for the rest of the day. So a little trade in the afternoon if you wanted to play that after the Fed. It was the only way to consider it. And now you end up with a big green bar that should follow through higher tomorrow. So we'll see, as long as we hold the midpoint of this day, let's expect higher, play, we'll see how opening, we'll see how the 15-minute chart unfolds. And again, the only way we fail is if we come back to the midpoint of this bar. Again, assuming we take out the high first, then that could lead to an outside day to the downside and maybe a shooter bar on the week, with 2 days to go. That could say, okay, this whole inside move was a fake breakout and we go lower. Other than that, it looks to be, we're playing the upside. So we'll see what, unfolds for the rest of the week.